Hello, hello. Happy Tarot Blade 8 Sunday. We have, I don't know, we have about 25 of us in the room so far. Hi, everyone. I'm going to go through and say some hellos, but before I do, I want to start with wishing all of the moms in the US and Australia and anywhere else in the world that they're celebrating today. I don't know if it's just our British friends who do it at this weird time in March, but a happy Mother's Day to all of you, or to anybody who is celebrating a mother, or however you want to celebrate today. So starting off with that, and I'm sure there are lots of moms in the room here that deserve celebration. So we have in here, let's see. Okay, let me get into the chat here. We have, I feel like I saw chat happen that's now gone. So already I'm starting off with fun technical stuff. But looks like we have Shane here and Jamie, Rose, Neem Essence 818. Okay, yeah, this chat is really behind. Okay, I'm gonna go through this other one. That's really strange. Hold on, I gotta fix this chat problem. I am sorry. Okay, let me refresh this, pop it on out of here. Am I buffering? Nope. No, I don't think I'm buffering. Maybe I am. Okay, let's get this little guy out here. Goodness, I get my own stream on. I am so sorry. It's going to be one of those days. Okay, give me 30 seconds. I will fix this, and we will be on our merry way to Playdate. It's trying to like play back for me, which is very strange. Okay, I'm going to have to do this a little differently than I normally do with my chat, because for some reason I can't play it for myself. So let's just keep saying some hellos. I've got Jessie in here. Hi, Jessie. Patrice, Jilly, Bastet. Let's see, who else do we have in here? Simon's here. Hello. Sandra. Hi, Sandra. White Tree Tarot's here. Science to Soul Jen. Hi. Let's see, who else do I have? Scrolling past all the hellos. Hopefully not missing anything good. Lots of hellos. Lots of happy Mother's Days. It's really hot here in Seattle today, by the way. I mean, relatively for May. Jennifer Ball. Hello, my dear friend. Keeping scrolling. Aquarius Owl is here. Hello. Mike's here. Hi, Mike. All right, I'm almost through it. I think I'm almost through it. You guys are chatty today. Hi, Kimberly. Elizabeth's here. Oh my gosh, there's so much chatting. Jackie's here. And then thank you, Shane, for this special Mother's Day. Hello, Emily. Hi, Emily. Wendy, Becca, Lori, Susie. Okay, so now let me see if I now pop this out. I think my chat is caught up here. I'm gonna dab my face and let's get to going. All right, I think I might have the chat caught up. Isn't it, Wendy, the last thing that was said here? Because if so, then I am doing all right. All right, you guys. So happy Mother's Day to all. Hello, Alana. And oh, Wiccan's here. Mindy's here. Hello. Selkie, hi. If I missed anyone, I'm so sorry. I'm having really funky issues with my setup here today. But I think things look to be scrolling right now. So I think I'm all right. So last week we had the Six of Wands. And I think this played out in a lot of ways. It was a really informative play date. You guys did great. Some of the people participated in the activities, and I saw some great stuff going into the Tarot Playdate Facebook group. You know, somebody celebrating the fact that they're a mother. Somebody, what else did we have in there? There was the Mother's Day one. Oh, we had somebody who like built a model. Like, it was really cool to see this play out this week. For me personally, I think I got to see both sides of this card really, really well. You know, there were those moments where I felt really high on my horse, and there were those moments when not so much. So this has been a really active card for me this week. I don't know about anybody else, or if you have anything you want to share with our group. To anybody who's come in that I did not say hi to, hello, a big, happy Playdate welcome to all of you. So you guys who, I don't know if we have anybody new in the room. If you have anybody new in the room, raise your hand and I'll stop and explain the format. Hey, Sean. So where we're going to start off is where we always do before we pull our Playdate card for the week. We are going to first gather a list of 5 questions. Hi, Kiana, and hi, Christina. And we are going to use the card that we pull to answer those questions throughout the course of our Playdate using our Rider-Waite-Smith card as well as the alternative cards that I will select. So are you guys ready? I hope you came prepared with questions. Because, yep, Jen's ready. I don't even have my pen and paper yet. And see, and Jen knows the drill. If you put them in all caps, I will see them. If you put them in lowercase, I'm much more likely to miss them. And if I skip by you, it's purely because fast scrolling chat. And I really, really am not trying to pick and choose. All right, I usually try and get them in first come, first serve order. That almost didn't make sense. So Jen's got a question for us right out of the gate. How do we generate higher energy this week? I love that question. How do we generate higher energy? And I read out loud as I write, so you know I'm not just ignoring you. So there's that. Alana, if you read, I guess you're right. I won't see you doing it, Alana. But you know, there's that little emoji with the the raised hand. But I saw you. Do you see that? I actually just saw you. Aquarius Owl, how do we honor our moms today? So even if it's not Mother's Day where you live, you know, and even if moms are with us or not with us, or we're in touch or not in touch, there's always a way, right? I'll go ahead and write that one down. And that was from our Aquarius Owl. If only I could spell it. All right. Then we have, yes, did somebody ask a question not in all caps? Oh, whoa, there's one from Emily. Oh my gosh. How can we surrender into our experiences and allow our emotions to just be without judgment and without needing to change anything? Wow, Emily. Okay. I wish I could just copy paste that onto my paper right now. How can we surrender into, that's going to be a fun one to dive into and answer, our experiences and allow our emotions. You must do some really great tarot readings for yourself. You come up with great questions like that. To just be without judgment and without needing to change anything. Meditation. Is that the key? Okay. Sorry, that's not tarot related. Okay, so that was from Emily. Okay, have I missed any? Let me scroll back up. That was a big one. How can we connect with our higher selves and the higher selves of others? From Simon. How can we connect with our higher selves and the higher selves of others? Jessie, did I see you put up above what's the next step? Was that for this? Was that for this to ask the question? Higher selves of others. Because if so, I don't want to miss it, and I'll grab that one. Simon. Okay, well, I think it might be. So I'm gonna grab it. I'm gonna grab that one. So from Jessie, what's the next step in whatever it is that we're doing, right? So that's a really general one that anybody can kind of apply in whatever area of your life it speaks to you in. So I think I got 5 here. Let me make sure. I hope I didn't skip anybody. If I did, and you come back next week, which I hope you will, please bring your question back to me. Happy Mother's Day to all. Hi, Patrice. If I didn't say hi to you already, and anybody else who snuck in the room. Lori, oh, let's bring that question back next week. Okay, so Jesse, I think I got your question. Oh, okay. So our 5 questions are from Jen Science to Soul. How? Oh, okay, not that. I wrote down how do we generate higher energy this week? Our second question, how do we honor our moms today? From Aquarius Owl, very appropriate. Third question, how can we surrender into our experiences and allow our emotions to just be without judgment and needing to change anything? From Emily. Then how can we connect with our higher selves and the higher selves of others? From Simon. And then what's the next step? Yeah, that'll be a good one to end off as we head into the week, right? Okay, so first of all, let's get to shuffling. Are you guys ready? Anybody have any card predictions for me this week as our deck gets smaller and smaller? There are 22 cards no longer in this deck. Raven Morning Glory, hello. There's a shuffle. Got my cheerleader, Jen. Okay. I'm checking to see if I missed anything relevant in the chat. Okay. We've got somebody conversing in a completely different language in here, but I know you both speak English too. That's fun. Good for you. Okay. Simon's predicting the 3 of Cups. Elle's got the Lovers. Jesse's been pulling the World a lot. Jilly's got the Wheel. All right, I'm gonna read these out as I shuffle. Got to put that energy in there. From Jen, how do we generate higher energy this week? How do we honor our moms today? How can we surrender into our experience and allow our emotions to just be without judgment or needing to change anything? How can we connect with our higher selves and the higher selves of others? And what's the next step? All right, this is the one. All right, here we go. I know I get this really concentrated look on my face. Oh, well, all right then. It had to come up sometime. I mean, it did. I know. So, first impressions, what do we think? Yeah. I know. But, I mean, we got to face every one of these 78 cards. And I'm sure, as always, as we go through Tarot Playdate, it will soon become clear why this is the card that we pulled for the week. I'm not sure I'm surprised, but let's see how we do here. Jilly calls this the holy shit card. Yeah, I call this the nightmare card. That's always my first, it's like the stress and nightmares. That's what it brings up for me. But of course, maybe I'm taking a little literally because she's in bed. All right, let's see what our reactions are here. Worries and anxieties at this time with COVID. Yes. Raven, no. It's never as bad as we think it is. That's right, Emily. Shane likes the 9 of Swords. Shane likes all the dark, twisty cards, though. He's kind of a fan. Nightmares, says Aquarius Owl. Bass is like, all right, let's do this. We'll dive in. Kind of appropriate. Corbin says, this has been me this week with some bad insomnia. I know a lot of people have not been sleeping well. Show of hands. I think I got 5 hours last night, so I'm making an improvement. Did somebody just say I'm off to bed? Wait. Oh, I'm off to a hot bath instead of this card. Elizabeth's like, I'm out of here. This used to be Lori's stalker card. In the moment, it's hideous, but in the morning, it's better. We can handle it, Becca. Yes, we can. We are all coming together to work through it together. Community. Earthy Shy Tarot, hello. I'm glad to see you here. Yep, it is kind of perfect. A lot of people call it the nightmare card. Oh, shoot, fast scrolling. We got lots of thoughts. Okay, maybe I'm going to do this. I keep forgetting I have the touchpad, which makes this so much easier. You think I'd make it as easy on myself as possible. What did I miss something that Jilly said, or is it just this chat scrolling really fast? If I did, sorry. Stress and worry. Hi, Naomi. It's nice to see you. Mental anguish, says Kiana. This totally speaks to anxiety and overthinking, says Emily. Sleepless night, says Jackie. Anxiety overload. Jen, yep. Sean's raising his hand, not sleeping. Can't stop the mind chatter. Oh my gosh, you guys look, there's so much to dive into. Yes, this is going to be a good card. I mean, you know what I mean. Grief, says Wiccan. Tiny Dancer. So that was my experience connecting today. Doubt and desolation, says Mike. Feeling vulnerable, says Jackie. Yes. Essence. It's all in the mind. It's all in the mind. Pay attention and determine if it could be your reality and if there's anything you can do to change it. Right? Remember the swords and the thinking, right? A lot of this is so much about what's in our mind. The promise of this card is that the quilt is covered with the gifts of the planets. The universe has us covered. Yes, Jilly. Becca's been waking at night, 2 a.m. The night is always darkest before the dawn, says Simon. Earthy Shy Tarot, my card for today is the 5 of Cups, and now this. Aw, you know, but we're going to help you get through it. We're going to hold your hand right through this thing. Psychically Yours, hello. Yeah, we did. We had to get it sometime. Kiana loves the swords. Robin says migraine. Hi, Robin. Shay, hello. All the crap is really just in our own mind. All these thoughts circling and circling. Wendy just checking I'm better on Top Chat or live chat. I can never really tell the difference between the two, but I always switch it to live chat. Let's see. Getting over times of sadness, anxiety being through the roof, and etc. moments, says Robin. Alana, I'm tempted to pull the invisible blind down to cover those swords if the person could lay back down and go to sleep. It's like, it's okay. Just lay back down. It was all a dream. Overreacting, says Kiana. Elle says astrology, Mars, the Tower card, plus Gemini, the Lovers equals the 9 of Swords. Okay, so there's some, some offsetting energies there, right? I don't quite know what Tiny Dancer is saying. Desperation, says Naomi. Simon says focus on the present and don't overthink the future. Allowing your fears to get the upper hand, says Mendy. Conflict of the mind, mental anguish, says Wiccan. Okay. Oh, Wendy came back to the live chat. We will face the storm before the calm, says Earthy Shy Tarot. Ready for symbols. Yeah, I think we pulled out a lot of our initial thoughts. Let me pull this up close for everybody, and then we're going to have Simon's always got his handy dandy guide to the Rider-Waite-Smith for us. All right, focus. I mean, I guess we can see the 9 of Swords. How clearly do I need to focus on that? But there we go. I want you guys to see what's more at the bottom of the card, right? So we have our person, we have our quilt. Has anybody ever noticed what was on like the bed frame here? Does that look like somebody like dueling or sword fighting? Like this person like just knocked that person on their butt? I've never seen that before. Yeah, it looks like a feud, right? I've never seen that before. This is why I like holding things up to the camera for you, so it really helps me get a better idea of what's going on. The roses could be worry about a loved one, says Wendy. Hi, Corvin. It does look like a duel. Yeah. Huh. So there's like these swords above, this fighting underneath. Well, like no wonder this person is stressed out. All right. Jackie says, wrestling with your thoughts. Simon's bringing it on for us. The scene of sudden awakening or shock, darkness or illumination. There's a method for training the eyes that starts in exactly the same way as shown in the picture with so-called palming. Is that just about the card overall, or is there something in particular, or is it about? Guide me on where that's coming from there. I know that we like to dive into the symbols. So Simon, a lot of times will read for us from this book here, The Ultimate Guide to the Rider-Waite Tarot. It's really great. For those of you who haven't seen it, I'm just going to randomly try and do this with one hand, where we have, the book will go through each card, and then it talks about all of the different symbols and the colors and the things like that in the cards, which are really great. Pixie has graffitied her signature to the bed frame. Yep, she sure did. Oh, okay, sorry, I'm shedding. But yeah, like right there is Pixie's signature there in the bed frame. Oh, astrology symbols all over the quilt. Notes Aquarius owl. Psychically yours, see it as a symbol for nightmares, the duel that is. Yes, that makes sense. Essence, so much mental anguish in this card, but by covering your eyes, it doesn't make what you see go away. Face it. Yeah, sometimes we just have to do that. Wiccan, swords on the wall can be used as a ladder to climb out. Ooh, clever. Simon says, the black shadow behind stands for all that is unknown, whether it because it has been suppressed and forgotten or because it is behind or beyond one's consciousness. White Tree Tarot, one of the versions, those two fighting on the bed frame is Cain and Abel. Oh, that's interesting. Thoughts become things, says Essence. Yes. Emily, it also reminds me of the way the swords are hung in the 4, which could be signifying that this person is a person of action and perhaps today's social activism. It's a really interesting way to look at this. Okay, yeah, and so that first was about the card overall. Thanks for clarifying that for me. I kind of assumed, but I just want to make sure. The book is The Ultimate Guide to the Rider-Waite Tarot by, it's either Johann or Johannes, Fiebig and Evelyn Berger. You can find this on Amazon. Looks like this. So I like, after our play dates, I almost always will go take this card and then I'll go sit down and read the book entries for that card because I really enjoy getting that extra layer. Simon says, the quilt, the roses stand for the beauty and authenticity of the inner self, what really moves your heart and what would likely come to fruition within you, or what you would like to come to fruition. One of those things. Jamie says, sometimes covering your eyes can visualize the nightmare. Open your eyes to move past it, right? So if we keep our eyes closed, sometimes all we see is that nightmare playing behind our eyelids, right? But if you open your eyes and see reality, then the nightmare goes away. Very good point, Jamie. I'm on board with that. Wendy says you have to pop out at 7. Well, I appreciate you being here for any length of time that you're here. Earthy Shy Tarot, oh, thank you. Thank you to someone. Elle says the collection of astrological symbols, the whole cosmos, a complete cycle or integrated whole. Robin says astrology of the quilt lays out a map for growth, but the sleeper doesn't want to face it, right? So maybe there are things that allow us to get past this point, but because of that hiding, you know, we're not taking those opportunities. We're not climbing the ladder, as somebody else said, right? Oh, Simon says the swords are bars. We are not dealing with isolated thoughts here. There's a whole pattern involved, a completely new network of insights, which comes into the foreground. Kiana says the scene on the bed, suggestive of dreams, troubling ones since the two figures are fighting. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Now this will be like the first thing I see next time I pull this card. Emily says, I think it makes sense about the roses having meaning for that person, indicating what they want or passionate about, care about, because we only agonize if we care about something. That's very true. If we don't care, we don't give it a second thought, right? Thank you for posting the link to that book in the chat here, Elle. Good mod dutying. Oh, I did not say that. Good mod performance. I just gave all the 12-year-olds way too much ammo there. Let's see, it's time to refocus your goals because just a little tweak here and there could make a big difference. Yes, Jackie. The swords are stacked against you, says Robin. But are they? Are you stacking them against yourself? Essence, it's the buildup. Sometimes that's been burning your subconscious has risen, or what's been burning your subconscious has risen into the consciousness. You know, you were asleep, you woke up, the time has come in order to get to 10 of Swords. Yeah, you know, we're on that journey and everything comes around. Lori had a nightmare about COVID last night. I'm sorry, Lori. Let's try and distract you from that. Earthy Shy Tarot, our mind is our own prison. Are these roses or planetary symbols? I'm confused. So it seems like we have a lot of schools of thought about what's on the quilt. So let's take a look. Maybe it's both. Aha, it's both. You guys have been talking about these astrological symbols. So we have the roses in the yellow squares, and then in the blue, we have the astrological symbols. Like I recognize this one right here. There's Aries. We have the moon, right? Where's my Libra? I got to find my Libra. Is it on there? I'm shaking too much. Oh, there it is, way down in the corner. A little Libra sign. Huh. I learn something new every week with you all. Let's see. The pair of twins, says Simon, negative inner discord, being self-opinionated, not being prepared, positive, coming to terms with inner conflict, being prepared to learn and change. Are we talking about down here, the twins in the fight? Is that what that's supposed to be? Yeah, those in the UK who are going to be hearing Boris speak, we might have them take a break from Playdate and then come back to us, I hope. Don't forget about us. Alana, I see the person being so conflicted that his head hurts so much that all he can do is keep his eyes closed and hold his head. Yeah, I totally was talking about you and L. Shane. Or Simon. Sometimes Simon. Kiana, 9 of Swords. Looks like bars here, a symbol of restriction. Let fate run its course, says Naomi. Mendy, yeah, I hadn't noticed them either. Well, obviously, I just exclaimed about that, but I'm just agreeing with you. Emily says, I think it is a sign to let go. It seems so overwhelming, like there's a lot at stake, and the conscious speculation is only adding to the sense of conflict and trouble. Earthy Shy, I need a magnifying glass to read all the tarot symbolism. You know, once one of the things that I have sometimes pointed out is our fellow tarot tuber, Brian Cormac Carr, once did a video on taking a magnifying glass to the tarot, and he highlighted some things I had never seen. It was really, really a cool concept, actually. So if you've got one, I actually encourage that. Let's see. Sean says, someone make me this quilt, please. Yes. Any quilters in the room? Reproduce this? Oh, you'd have some tarot fans that would be snapping that thing up. I totally would do it. Essence says it goes back to what Jilly Little Zen Crone said. The quilt symbolizes the universe has you covered. Yes, with those astrological. Now it's all making sense. Let's see here. Simon, all right, I can totally hear it when you say it too. Kiana, the zodiac signs on the quilt represent multitude rather than any individual significance. They tell us the person's worry may encompass lots of life aspects. Okay, so Kiana, aren't you my numerology person? Do we want to bring and let's talk about the number 9 with regard to this as well. And I've got a nice little reference here for the numerology, but let me know if you have any thoughts other than what I'm about to share with you. Sorry, I'm just grabbing this here. So the 9 signifies, I'm getting this from my Galaxy Tarot app that I have on my phone that is unfortunately not available for iOS, which I don't understand because I thought everything was on Apple. The 9 signifies completion, often in the material sense. Nines represent a time for looking back over what one has done and feeling secure enough in one's achievements that one is able to dedicate resources to others. It is also a time to integrate one's achievements into the complete vision of one's life. 9 is associated with the Hermit and the Moon, as we know as well, both of which are my birth cards. So it's a 9 kind of day. All right, anybody else have any other thoughts? Oh, the roses on the quilt, symbol of love and hope, says Kiana. Did we already decide that the bed shows the actual dream or nightmare of the person, says Emily. Yeah, I don't know that we've decided it, but I think we've determined that that's certainly one interpretation. Jesse says, sometimes the intricate details seem far-fetched, but there's certainly a lot there. I could probably crochet that blanket. Yeah, I feel like it's doable, Jesse. You should tackle it. Let's see. I remember seeing a crochet pattern for this quilt on Etsy once, but I'm too lazy to make it. Really, Elle? Oh, all right. So we're not the first people to have this brilliant idea. So any other thoughts on this one? Are we ready to see our first alternate card for this week and start answering some of our questions? Because I have a feeling this is going to be very interesting. Simon, I need this quilt. Yes, need. I need it too. We have customers lined up. Shane, do you want to try tackling sewing that maybe? You want to learn how to quilt? I know you have a sewing machine. Jesse says, I don't want to commemorate that particular card. Just the quilt. The quilt is the good part, right? We got to find the good in even the dark times. Oh, Jamie has dibs? Oh, no. Yes, beg, pressure. All right, we're ready for the next card. Okay, just like I do every week before Playdate, I have a random name generator app that I have all my Rider-Waite-Smith tarot decks plugged into. Not the additional versions of the exact RWS imagery, but anything that's RWS based. And I select 5 of them that we then use throughout the course of playdating. And yesterday, I'm so excited because I got a new deck this week that I have not even looked through fully yet, but it came up on my random draw. And this is what many in the community have deemed the Kelly Bear deck because she loves it so much, the Tarot of the Magical Forest. So let's see how these cute, fluffy little creatures have decided to depict the Nine of Swords for us. But I feel like I could use a fluffy little creature version of this right now. All right. Oh, it's not as fluffy as I hoped. That's okay. I'm all right. Okay. So I'm trying to make sure I stay organized as I pull out each of these cards here. So here from the Tarot of the Magical Forest is our Nine of Swords. So I'm not sure we have a lot of major differences here with this card, but I'm going to go ahead and pull it up close and then pull it back again. And sorry, I know we're getting some glare there. It's not a particularly shiny deck. Oh, look. Poor little guy. He's not covered his eyes. Oh, that's a good observation, Emily. Yeah, I sat on the fence with this deck for so long. I am so glad that I managed to, it's not like it was hard, but that I finally decided to do it. All right, I missed a lot of chat, but I'm going to try and stay caught up here. Corvin loves this deck. Kiana brought more numerology for us. 9s being fulfillment, luck, fate, achieving a goal, intensity, fruition, attainment, compromise, and struggle. So his little hands can't reach his eyes. He's like, I'm trying to cover my eyes, but I can't. You have this one right next to you on your night table, Jesse, right? See, if you have a nightmare, you wake up, you look at this cute little card, and you're like, it's not so bad. L, red and white quilt in the terms of color. Red is passion and anger, and white is purity. So maybe it's kind of balancing out those thoughts, right? Well, I have the little book handy too, so we maybe could take a look at that. Purity and innocence, interesting contrasts. Yeah, the eyes wide open. Kelly points out that the little kitty can't reach his, the little kitty can't reach his widow eyes with his widow paws. That's how you have to say that, right? Balance, says Jilly, right? Between that red and white. Kind of reminds me of the War of the Roses, the red and the white, says Emily. Right? So maybe that's where our I don't even want to use the word battle, but where the conflict is, right? So in our standard RWS here, where we're seeing a bit of conflict happen or back and forth happen here in the bed, maybe that's more reflected in the quilt in this particular version of the card. Tyken's here and Gracia's here. Hello. Tyken says, eyes open, realizing things are not as bad as you had believed, right? Or like was it Jamie that said earlier, right? If you open your eyes, the nightmare goes away. If you look at reality, you see that it's not as bad as what you can kind of envision with your eyes closed. Becca says, it's never a good idea to cover your eyes, always better to face it head on. But man, sometimes it hurts, doesn't it? But yes, I agree. Oh, interesting that the sword arrangement is staggered, but that's all I've got. I never haven't thought of what that could mean yet. Kiana says the astrological association, Mars and Gemini, a forceful combination. Free-spirited Gemini is controlled by Mars, an unstoppable, aggressive force, bringing frustration and negative thoughts. Thank you for bringing that in, Kiana. I really appreciate it. Aquarius Al says, now that you are awake, the nightmare is interrupted. So do we see, besides the nightmare, do we see anything else in this particular card? I mean, it's kind of hard. But I think now what we need to do is maybe look at answering our first question. So, oh, actually, you know what? Before I do that, change my mind. I can do that, right? I want to see, this is a Los Scarabeo deck, so it's in all the languages. Let's see if this addresses the artwork in here, which I think it does. All right, so we have the family of bunnies. This is not the bunnies, this is the kitties. The family of frogs. Oh, I didn't even realize they did it like that. Okay, wait, which is wands. Then we have the bunnies. Oh, we have the foxes. Where are my swords? Wait. Okay, the family of bunnies is chalices. The family of foxes is Pentacles. The family of frogs is Wands. Oh, and then the family of cats is the Swords. Oh, they didn't bold family of cats like they bolded all the other ones, so I kept missing it. Okay, so the 9 just says nocturnal nightmares awaiting dawn. Well, that was a lot of work for that. But I like this idea of awaiting dawn. We haven't really talked about that, right? Waiting for the morning to come, waiting for the light to shine and things to get a little bit better. A cute little kitty. Cats have 9 lives, 9 of swords. Elle's drawn a blank other than that. All right, so our first question. So this is going to be a challenge for you, but that's what we like about Tarot Playdate, right? So our first question from Jen Signs to Soul, who was up very early in the morning, at least no nightmares, right? How do we generate higher energy this week? So how does this card answer that for us? How can we generate higher energy this week? Thoughts? This card is always candid and on point. Kiana had said, on a positive note, the stressful thoughts, nightmares, and overthinking are coming to an end soon. How do we generate higher energy this week? By facing things head on, by not being afraid, right? Knowing that even if things are hard, that if we face them and we open our eyes, right, we can move past the nightmares. Facing reality, says Jen. Yes, wake up and face the day, says Aquarius Owl. Feel the fear and do it anyway, says Emily, right? Just because things are hard doesn't mean they're impossible. It doesn't mean that we can't get past them. Challenges are really one of the essential parts and building blocks of life. It just can't be easy all the time. Wish it was, but it can't be, but it's character building. Waking up, says Elle, living in the now. The past no longer exists. Psychically yours, combating defeating thoughts with positive ones, right? Look down at our pretty little quilt here that we're all going to have, right? We all screw up when we are too emotionally involved, asked Tiny Dancer. Let's see, what else did I miss anyone else? Wake up and face the day. I got that one. There will always be a morning after, said Robin. Let's see here. Yeah, not really the fluffy answer I was hoping for, said Jen. I like how you tried to manifest a fluffy card for us, though. That was a really good effort. That's it. By letting our nightmares behind us and opening our eyes to all the things in our life, maybe there are no monsters under our bed. Yes, yes. Robin, when you can't sleep because of the nightmares, just get your ass out of bed and do something about it, right? You know what they say too, like if you're really having trouble, sleeping or dreaming and you're kind of fighting that insomnia, maybe getting up and grabbing a journal and just writing it all down, like get those thoughts out of your head so that maybe it quiets them down. Tyke Light Moon says 9 is the number of divine completion, thus a new beginning. Don't overthink negative situations, says Kiana, right? Because the more we let our thoughts spiral and the bigger we build it up to be, the worse that it gets. Really opening our eyes and seeing the situation for exactly what it is and not over dramatizing it, not letting it get away with us and away with our thoughts. So much of that, it really can help us generate that higher energy. If we just remember what is actually real. When thoughts are spinning out of control, when things feel extra challenging, asking yourself, what is really real? What do I actually know? Those things can really help bring all of that back down because it's really easy to get caught up in the spinning. And if you could make yourself focus on the facts, on what you know and what you can even do about it, a lot of time that can really help us get through those things. Anyway, sorry, soapbox, coming back down now. I'm good. All right, let me see what else other people had to say about this. This is not just my show. Emily says we can't control certain things, but we can control how we respond. Yes, yes, yes. By remembering that everything has to come to an end, right? Nothing, the one constant in life is that everything changes. Mendy says there's also a very active feel to this card, even though the cat is in bed, with the swords facing forward and aiming out as they are traditionally, right? Right, there's that feeling of movement, almost like what we see in the 8 of Wands. That's kind of what that brings to mind for me. Let's see. We are so close to the 10 of Swords. The old saying that this too shall pass, says Alana. Robin says you have more than enough tools to cut through all the crap. Yes. Thank you, Sean. Thanks. And Jesse. Thank you for understanding my ramblings there. Essence, thoughts become things. Don't go down the rabbit hole. I literally try to grab a handle of thoughts and say these. I will deal with these, right? It's like, okay, even one sword at a time, right? Okay, grab that thought. Let's handle that thought. Now let's move to the next one. It's your inner saboteur, shadow self, with all the negative thoughts and fears. Shine the light on yourself and value yourself so the shadows have no more power over you, says Wiccan. And Jen says it could just be a literal message to rest, like go back to sleep. It's okay. Just lay down and go back to sleep. Jilly says it seems like there's a lot of light coming from the right, like waking up from the nightmare to the dawn, right? Maybe our little kitty here, their eyes are open because they're looking out the window at the rising sun. I love that, Jilly. Thank you. That's the image I'm going to have in this card forevermore. I'm sure of it. Just say sorry and mean it, says Tiny Dancer. Yes, sometimes we need to do that too. I think that was great, guys. All right, I'm going to take a quick sip of coffee because I haven't had hardly enough. And I'm also really curious to find out what the announcement is in the UK to see how things are going to go for you guys. All right, my second deck also, I'm going to say it recently came to me, but I've had it for a long time. And that is because I recently picked up the smaller edition of the Gorgons Tarot, which I have the full-size version, and Llewellyn then released a mini version, not of the full set with the guidebook and everything, but it's a bit more manageable. So now it's a little bit closer as far as from a size perspective to a standard card, although it's still round. The other one was quite large, like it literally could cover my entire face. And I haven't worked with this one yet, but I'm excited to give it a try because I really had a heck of a time shuffling that one. Now, this one's much smaller. I did recently go on Llewellyn's website to check to see if they still had the smaller version. I don't know if they sold out. I couldn't find it, but I wasn't looking that hard. Alana was noticing the kitty's eyes looked a little bloodshot. Poor kitty was up all night. All right, let me get the Nine of Swords out of here. So this is an entirely black and white deck. All right, we have the 4. Oh, this is a really different take on the 9. This should be fun to talk about. All right, I'm going to put that over here. So here's our 9 of Swords. I really wanted to make sure that wasn't the 8, but this is the 9 of Swords in this deck here. Let me pull that up for you. It's kind of shiny. What do you think? Psychic Leora says, I want this one. Essence was kind of saying earlier, it's juggling the swords that hurts more. One at a time is progress. The job the kids, Bill's, I don't quite follow that part. Master of none and student of many, one at a time is progress. Robin says it looks like a wheel of misfortune. Right? Snakes. You see snakes. Where are the snakes? Oh, the snakes like around the swords. I didn't even notice that. Yeah, the snakes wrapped around all of those swords. And does it look like instead of covering her eyes, she's covering her ears? So the instant thought or impression that I'm getting is she's trying to shut out all of those thoughts. She's like, no, you know, it's like she's almost trying to close her ears to her own thoughts is kind of what I'm seeing in this. Sean says it looks like everything seems to be whirling fast. Psychically yours, wrapped up in her thoughts is what I see. Earthy Shade Tarot, wow, intense. Emily says, you may worry, but things will be what they be. Or could they be vines? Oh, I think I see little snaky heads on there. I think that was a good call on that, but let's take a look. You see those little eyeballs right around her? So anybody afraid of snakes would be pretty stressed out in the middle of this thing, wouldn't they? They are her snakes, says Tiny Dancer. Welcome back, Simon. We've got the Gorgons Tarot here with the 9 of Swords. Are you on lockdown? Is it like Groundhog Day? Did the groundhog see a shadow or not? L, the lotus position. There is the mud and there is the lotus that grows out of the mud. We need the mud in order to make the lotus, right? Jilly would be so proud of you right now, Elle. I'm sure she is. Opposite of the previous cards, the swords are all aimed at her, right? So that definitely has this more like everything sort of coming at her rather than maybe being behind her. Opposite, let's see, Aquarius L, these swords are the million things that we think can happen to our kids. Yeah, you know, when for all the parents out there, right? Jilly is proud. See, I knew you would be. Mhm. You have a conditional plan. Okay, all right. Things are slowly going to start changing. It is, you know, things are slowly going to change and get better. Alana, it looks like she is being consumed, I guess, by her own thoughts and feelings, which is trying to overtake her. And from tomorrow, you can spend as much time as you like, even sit on park benches and play sports. Yay. Yeah, that's really strange. Like, we've not here in Seattle, you know, where we're on lockdown, we can go outside. It wasn't that we couldn't go outside. We just had to stay 6 feet apart, keep social distancing rules, all of that. I know you guys had a pretty extreme lockdown. Snakes can be constricting, says Wiccan. Maybe the snakes are softening the sharp edges, not so bad. Oh yeah, less Sharpie points. It sounds like the state plan in Maryland. So let's talk about how this card can answer our second question. This one's interesting. So from Aquarius Owl, how do we honor our moms today? How do we honor our moms? Thoughts? Welcome back, Wendy. Were you also listening to Boris talk? Emily says this Nine of Swords looks like a bit of a metaphor for the lockdown. So focus all our thoughts on them, says Bastet, right? You know, or maybe it's we need to help our moms. For those who have our moms in our lives right now, maybe it's that we need to help distract them from thoughts. If we have moms that are worrying, maybe we need to help them feel better. Don't throw knives at them, says Jen. Yeah, don't do that. Hi, Sandra. Welcome back. That's okay. You guys had stuff going on. Important stuff's going on in the world. Jesse says, apologize to our moms for times we caused them to lose sleep. That's a good one. That's actually a really good one. By remembering that they worry about us all the time. Yes, I love that, Aquarius Owl. By drawing her in lots of love. Yes, Alana. Distract moms from her stressors. Yes, Sean. By forgiving them, says Christina. That's a good one. That's actually a really good one. Give them flowers. There are lots of flowers on this particular card, interestingly enough, just like we had, I guess, the roses on the first one. Lori, yes, I know Boris was speaking. It is okay. Are those flowers in between the swords? Yes, they are. Lots of little flowers. Sorry, it's really glary. You get to see the camera setup I've got going on here. Be supportive and remind them of your love, says Jackie. Oh, what did Shane say? Did I miss Shane? Oh, geez, I did. Right under the don't throw knives at them. I was too busy giggling over that. Help them handle those swords, those snakes. Be those flowers between those worries. Yes. Yeah, just be there to support one another. You know, be supportive. I love that. Sorry. I'm like, yes, I'm a mom. Support me. That's okay. All right. Yes. Maybe if you don't skip over your son, they can help you. I went back. I did. I found it. Essence help make some of those sharp swords piercing their thoughts to disappear. Show them that you're fine. As a mom, if your children are hurting, you're hurting too. Yes. Right? Because us moms worry about what's going on in your lives, and so are our children's lives. So if we know they're okay, that quiets a lot of the stress and the thoughts and the worries. Nice that we were able to answer a nice question with a nightmare card. The tarot is a wonderful thing. Like, seriously. I love you too, Shane. All right. Let's get our next card out. So, one of my, Jamie said, be there to patch the wounds once they pull the swords out and the snakes off. Oh, can I repeat the question for the people coming back in? Oh, that's a really good idea. So what the question that we were answering with this card was, how can we honor our moms today? So that was only our second question. That was from Aquarius L. Good mod. I don't want to say mod, whatever it is I said earlier. Thank you, Chili, for bringing that to my attention. Yes. So how do we honor our moms? Answering that with the Nine of Swords was a good play date challenge, I think. All right. The next randomly selected deck is the Wizard's Tarot by Barbara Moore. Some like, some don't. Our friends at the Tarot Times recently discussed this at length, and to varying degrees of appreciation for this deck. Did you ever get it, Becca? Did you ever get your deck? Has this crazy dragon crystal situation happening on the back here. This deck, I actually have to say, I was gifted this by Barbara Moore when she had not seen a video that I posted that this was on one of the decks that I was looking forward to for 2020. And, you know, they didn't pre-release any of the images, but I love a guidebook by Barbara Moore, and I happened to talk about that. And she very kindly sent me this to review on my channel. So I did do a full walkthrough of this deck. Let's put that there. So our 9 of Swords here. I want to make sure I have the right one. All right, here we have a whole different take. I'm not buying it. No, no, no. All right, so here is our 9 of Swords from this Barbara Moore Wizards Tarot. All right, let's pull it up close. Becca got it, still doesn't like it. Okay, come on, focus. I think the glare is going to give me a bit of problem here. Anything? All right, well, we have a bookshelf, what appears to be a bookshelf. Come on, cards. You know you want to. Let me see if I can get it on her face, because sometimes that helps. There we go. Gosh, that was an effort. So there. Oh, she's got a nice shoe closet there. A bed of nails, says Tiny Dancer. Yeah, Elle didn't like it either. Hi, Anj. Nice to see you. So, Youchie, says Jackie. Now, here's the thing. If you look really closely, it appears that she's actually like levitating above those swords. Notice here, like they're not piercing her, right? Yeah, this is quite something. Very Princess and the Pea, says Toadstool. This takes this to a whole new level, I'm pretty sure. 11 boxes. There should have been 9. What you talking about, Elle? Ritual sacrifices, Emily. Yes, she does appear. Well, I don't know. I guess it's all how we look at the card, but she appears to be levitating to me, Susie. Is she laying on a bed of swords? It's kind of an uncomfortable card. Yeah, it is. Lots of compartments, but some empty drawers. Interesting. Oh, my poor arm. I know. Could you see I was like shaking? Look, usually I can just rest. My elbow's usually like rested right here. So as we talk about the card, it's not too bad. But thank you. Thank you for your concern about my little arm. The dress looks bloody. Whoopsie. Yeah, but if you look close, it's like it almost looks like it has like purple flowers. And it's sheer. It's a very different kind of image, right? Emily says it's like she has to move herself away from the swords before she rests. It's like she's concentrating to not fall onto these swords. Jen likes the card. Jen, you like the challenging stuff, though. You are always up for a challenge, which is something I appreciate about you and how you approach the tarot for sure. So Alana doesn't like the card. Does anybody see anything kind of different messaging wise in this card? I mean, judgments of it aside, right? Is there anything that kind of stands out to you that brings a different message to you than those that we've already talked about? Emily says it's like pushing problems away. Will of the mind to levitate. You know, it's kind of like that whole mind over matter concept, right? So while all these swords are here, she's maybe, you know, in her mind, she's lifting herself above those thoughts, those worries, those concerns, whatever it might be that's threatening. And if she lets her mind take over, or she loses that concentration to rise above, then maybe she'll fall, right? I don't know. I'm not sure. I think Simon made some comments that maybe this book doesn't cover the art, oh shoot, the way that we would normally like to see in a book like this. But let me see if there's anything in here that gives us an idea on the approach of this card here. 9 of Wands. Okay, the 9s. This book is structured by number instead of by suit. What did Robin say? Kind of an inversion of the 10 of Swords. It really is, isn't it? The red shoes stood out. That's the fairy tale about the dancing shoes in red. Oh, interesting. Naomi, we also need to look at it from a different angle. It doesn't comment on the artwork. Yeah, it just says obsessive thoughts, sleeplessness, nightmares, worries, guilt, despair, oppression. Here it says swords represent the air, mind, intellect, thoughts, etc. Now, here's an interesting sentence, though. It's bad enough when cruelty comes from others, but it's even worse when it comes from within. We are so very skilled at torturing ourselves. If the Nine of Swords comes up, then you're probably not sleeping due to a racing mind. On those dark nights of the soul, you replay all your mistakes, real or imagined. You worry about things that will probably never happen. You imagine people thinking horrible things about you. The trick isn't just recognizing the experience, but developing the tool to deal with it. There are probably only grains of truth in what you were worrying about, and your mind blew them up into big, scary monster thoughts. Since you created them, you can unmake them. Will you allow nights like this to rob you of your rest, or will you manage your mind? People have different methods, meditation, journaling, etc. What will be your approach? So while it doesn't particularly address the artwork, I actually do think it's a nice way to talk about this particular card in the tarot in general. All right, I'm going up. I'm going up to see some comments. Jackie says you can rise above the problems. Expanding so much mental effort to avoid what needs to be addressed, says Al. Emily says, I do see the shadows that she's avoiding feeling the pain. Yes. You made this bed lay there, says Tiny Dancer. Ouch. But sometimes. Shane says the sheens of the dress can be the need to be exposed. The sheerness of the dress, sorry, can be the need to be exposed. Be truthful when keeping yourself afloat versus those 9 swords. Oh, I love that, Shane. You're right, Simon. There's some really good stuff up here. We also need to look at it from a different angle. The blood looks like it is pooling on the floor. See, I don't see blood, but I can see from far away why you see that. But when you get get it close, it's the bed sheet and her dress. But from far away, there's a lot of detail happening in this card. She is struggling to keep herself above the swords. Instead, she should concentrate on taking those swords she created down. If we give in to those negative thoughts and feelings, it will only lead to our eventual demise, addiction, self-harm, etc. Emily says, I like the card, but I do think you can see that almost love and light only vibe. She's unwilling to face the reality. Ooh, so is she ignoring what's happening underneath her? Is she not facing what's in her subconscious because it's down there underneath? That's interesting. Emily says, I feel that if we can address the fear of the nightmare of 9, then we can release the 10 swords in the back in the next. Elle says, sometimes you make your own bed and you've just got to lie in it. Yeah, I think somebody said that above too. Christina says, I don't like this one. All right, if I missed anything and you want to read, you can always tag me too. And all caps is always a great way. I do try to keep a pretty good eye on the chat in here because everybody has so many good thoughts. But let's answer our questions, shall we? Oh, so this one was from Emily, who's had lots of thoughts on this card. How can we surrender into our experience and allow our emotions to just be without judgment and needing to change anything? How can we surrender into our experience and allow our emotions to just be without judgment and needing to change anything? Emily says, it takes a lot of effort to actually let go. Jen says, I feel this is the final point before the fall onto the swords that we see in the 10, right? Yeah, I mean, it's just like, again, I feel like she could just fall down on them any second. Emily says, this card is perfect for that question. Tiny Dancer says, until you can forgive yourself for what you have done, you will blame others for it, potentially, right? Being able to, it keeps kind of coming back, right, to that facing the things that are true, or opening our eyes to what the reality of the situation really is. How we can surrender into our experience and allow our emotions to just be without judgment and without needing to change anything. So in those times when we're confronted by difficult things or thoughts or whatever it might be, being able to just accept that, not give in to the fear, right? Look at it. This is often a trick in meditation too, right? It's, you have these thoughts that come into your mind. Look at those thoughts, but without judgment, right? Don't try to do anything about it. Don't react to it. Just say, oh, okay, that's there, right? And then let that move on, being able to acknowledge that. Let's see what have you guys got to say about this. That one I read. So we just have to embrace those emotions without overthinking them and just feeling them, says White Tree Tarot. Yes, sit with it, says Emily. Essence, or is she dealing with what she can handle now, but aware that others will leave her uncomfortable or hanging until she deals with them? With each sword removed, she'll have more space available, right? Maybe tackling them one at a time. Naomi says we could document it and go back to it at a later date to see if it's a clue there to help us move forward. Elle says, get out of your head. Don't get into the negative thought cycles. Reach out for support. Stabbed in the back, just a little tickling sensation. You know, maybe it's like maybe you feel like those things just like right at your back, right? Those thoughts are right there, not quite touching, right? But I like the bite-sized approach. Yes. So surrendering to our experience is just sitting with it, recognizing it for what it is, understand that this is where we're at, but also not allowing our thoughts to get carried away. Nice. All right. Let me know if you have any. Feel free to get other thoughts while I take one more sip of coffee because we have to keep the caffeine flowing. That's for sure. And we will move on to our fourth deck. So we're going to go a really different direction aesthetically. I actually feel, do I say this? I'm like a broken record, but I feel like I have a nice selection of decks here. So the next one, these are literally just ordered, by the way, like smallest to largest. So that's how we're pulling these out. The Line Strider Tarot is next. So let's lighten it up and see, I mean, like visually. This was a gift from my son Shane. My very first tarot deck he ever bought me. All right. The Nine of Swords. So this is much simpler. We're going to take it back down to basics now with this particular card. Alana had said, feel your feelings and think your thoughts, but then let it go. Don't let it control you. Elle said, when you turn it to the side, it was like she was being pushed to walk the plank. Oh, interesting. I don't know which way I turned it, but don't self-crucify yourself. Don't give up. Shane has been waiting for this deck to come up. It's here, Shane, on a day that you can attend Playdate. So here is our Nine of Swords from the Line Strider Tarot. Let's get a nice look at what's here. I'll get on a space because it tends to focus better. Come on. Come on. Oh, I thought I had him. There he is. There he is. What is on the top of that? Is that like an ant? I don't know what that, I want to know what that is. I want it to zoom. Okay, hold on. We'll try one more time. Maybe it's nothing. Maybe it's just a dark splotch. So what do we think about this one? Could you hear TK? He's like way over there, but he's so loud. A fox. Tiny Dancer said one more thing could be cutting yourself. Stop. Yeah, if you want to. No self-harming. That's not. Whew, that's a tough topic though. Elle says shadow work your way out of the darkness. Ooh, I like that. Yeah, a little bit of ink. I'm pretty sure that's right. Essence says the mind is a powerful thing. It really is. It tangles, it blanks out, it gets overwrought with bad thoughts, pushes out positive thoughts, but it's a muscle. We must exercise it, massage it, and train it. Yes, yes. That's why for those who meditate or make meditation a part of their practice, that's, you know, I think a huge part of it, at least it is for me, and I need to do way more of it. It looks like the fox is looking at the creature. Right? Do we see a creature in here? Like that poor fox looks really stressed out to me. Let's look at his face. Let's see what we got here. Come on, come back to me. There we go. Like I feel like his little eyeball is like rolling up into his head almost. What's happening? Wendy says the moon could mean that sometimes things are not as they seem, including your doubts and fears. Sean's like, I just don't meld with this deck. Jilly, neither. Robin says, don't be too bothered by something nagging at your shoulder. The worst is behind you. So Shane, I know you're an animal person. Or what about our animal people? What do you guys think? Oh, it's like he knew I was going to ask him that. Foxes are hunted and hunters. It looks to the sky while its body is laying on the ground. I feel like a fox doesn't really have time to rest. Emily said, whatever it is behind him is plaguing him. Naomi says, I feel like the fox needs to find a safer place. Getting no rest as listening for danger. Right? It does. It looks like he's kind of looking around, you know, hearing those noises in the night, right? The things that go bump in the night. Alana says, it looks like he is continuously looking over his shoulder. Tiny Dancer sees regret. Alana sees him harboring his past. Yes. Foxy Loxy, the sky is falling. Oh, Robin. Let's see here. Did I miss any other comments? So there's not a ton to dive into symbolically, I think, with this card. But if anybody has any other thoughts, but let's also look at our question. So question number 4, this one was from Simon. Simon, are you there? All right. How can we connect with our higher selves and the higher selves of others? Ooh, how can we connect with our higher selves and the higher selves of others? I missed you. Okay, I'm coming back. I'm coming back. I did. How do I do that when it's blue? It sort of reminds me of the 4 of Cups, where they're looking away from the potential solution, whereas the fox is looking directly at it. Now it's time for him to navigate it. Yes. Yeah. Ellen Shane, you guys are all over this. I'm so proud of my kids. Look to the skies, the universe, the bigger picture, says Jen. His tail comforts him a little bit, says Susie. Christina, use the craftiness of the fox, right? I like that. In dreams, regret in dreams? Or Sean says, beware of others' fears. Think slice a fox's essence. Be crafty in how to deal with it. Basic just won't do. Connect in dream state. Did I say this? Look to the skies, the universe, the bigger picture, from Jen. If not, I like it. Wendy, rise above our doubts and fears and tap into the universal energies that surround us all by being and keeping perspective, right? So yeah, how can we deal with our higher selves, right? It's maybe sometimes do we find that we're looking for trouble, right? You know, we're looking to hear the worst. We are looking to feel, I don't know. It's like, you know, when you're looking over your shoulder, or if you're constantly thinking that trouble's going to come, trouble may very well find you. So finding a way to kind of, again, look back to that reality and center and focus on what is real really helps us stay more in tune with what's really going on with ourselves and with others. All right, let's see what else you guys have to say. Stephen, hi. Nice to see you. 9 of Swords. This card falls on the deck and where my son sits, so I have to spend I've spent a lot of time with this card. Oh, well, share your thoughts. Feel free. Late doesn't matter. Let's see. Jackie said something. What did Jackie say? Oh, you guys are teasing Al. Never mind. That's all that. Emily says, perhaps if you're able to lead by example, let go of fears and anxieties to help others do the same and then connect on that higher level. Ooh, I love that, Emily. Al says, always looking for self-criticize versus, are people who are looking to self-criticize versus self-improving. I'm not quite sure I totally followed that, Al. Oh, and then you took it away. Probably because I was stumbling over my words. I'm sorry. So, Tiny Dancer, are you asking anyone in particular, or you just mean in reference to this card? This isn't the Mother's Day question. Thank you, Simon. Any other thoughts on that? Shall we move on to our last card? All right. Well, feel free to share your thoughts as I pull the next card. There's always a few moments to do that. Let me organize this and put this other rest of the deck back in the box. And then also, after we're done with our cards, and we're going to talk about the reversals as well after we look at this last card, we'll do our activities. But I also want to talk to you guys a little bit about some ideas that we're kind of tossing around for the Tarot Playdate Facebook group. So we'll be interested in maybe getting some feedback on that. Little did Elle know that I was going to ask you about that. All right. So, oh, did I show you what our last deck is? The Druid Craft. I'm really excited to look at this card. I'm like, ooh, save the best for last with the biggest box on the bottom. Let me find my swords here. Okay. Oh, this is such a beautiful deck. Such a beautiful deck. Okay, here is our 9 of Swords. Sticking pretty close to our Rider-Waite-Smith imagery here. But isn't that gorgeous? Oh, I just love it. I need to work with this deck again very soon. Mine is trimmed.
One of my 2 trim jobs I've ever done on a deck, but I ended up going inside the green borders. And I've seen people trim it with leaving the little green borders on the outside, and I really liked it. But when I chopped off too quickly or too closely, so then I was kind of stuck and committed. So here we have, it's not super duper focusing. Let me see if I can get it for you. Come on, there we go. There you can see the ornateness of the back of her bed. Look at those sword hilts. There's so much detail in this card. Well, that person's like naked in bed. The blue bedding. Doesn't this feel like really luxurious? Like, you know, I feel like this person has a lot, and yet they're still so worried and anxious, right? You know, even those who have a lot still have lots of worries. All right, let's see what people say here. Elle was trying to say earlier, looking to self-criticize yourself versus self-improve one limits you. It helps you grow. Yes, yes, yes. Essence earlier had said about the lion strider, the fox doesn't just wake up like, hey, I'm a fox and I'm hungry. It's a tactical approach to meet a need, not a want, but a need. Interesting. Lots of people loving the Druid craft. The bed doesn't look comfy though. You know, yeah, it almost looks like there's no mattress. It's just like maybe blankets on top of a hard wooden bed, right? Her bed is so small. That's a nightmare, right? We need room to stretch out. Otherwise, you just end up cramping and curling in on yourself. Let's see. Alana says, by focusing on the present and future, letting go past pain and mistakes, not letting the past negativity influence your present thoughts and future actions with self and others. So that was that was an answer, I'm assuming, to how can we connect with our higher selves and the higher selves of others. I love that, Alana. Shane said, I love it when decks make the swords different. Different swords, different thoughts, different takes on things, moving and shifting thoughts. Yes, right? The detail, not every thought is the same. This is really representative of 9 different swirling, thoughts potentially. Emily says, it looks like the swords could drop to the floor and stick to the floor. Jilly says, this one, the swords are behind. Whatever has happened is behind them, but they are still feeling it. Let go. Sean, thank you. Bye. If you probably already left because I'm so behind on the chat here. Wendy, I love them when I got them, but love them even more trimmed. This deck. Jilly says, I'm going to go get the book. Waking up before the walk of shame. Ooh, says Earthy Shitera. It's like, oh, what did I just do? And who did I do it with? Thank you, Simon. It's a little uneven. I thought I did a really good job, and then I put all the cards together. I was like, oh, I still need to practice this. This was the one, the first one that I trimmed with a guillotine, and my crystal visions I trimmed with scissors, which really stressed me out. Like I was living the 9 of Swords while trimming the crystal visions. Let's see. These swords seem less active than in previous decks. Notes White Tree Tarot. That's seriously how my stance was in labor. The pain is so intense, but after the package has been delivered, the pain subsides, right? So again, sometimes it's working through the hard stuff to get the blessings and the good things afterwards, right? Emily, like overwhelming feelings about those thoughts. Essence says she's birthing a solution. Yeah, the guidebook is very good. I have not read it well enough yet. Naomi says they are naked and vulnerable. Now the guidebook has a lot of information in it. This one does 9s together as well. Let me see if I can pull out any good snippets from this ginormous guidebook. So here we kind of get some general meanings. This card refers not so much to the event itself, but to our experience of it. To this dark night of the soul that we find ourselves in. We may suffer from insomnia or nightmares or find ourselves unable to think clearly or to shake off fear and anxiety. Our sense of isolation or solitude may be intense, and we might find it impossible to gain any sense of hope. Despite these feelings, there is light at the end of the tunnel. 9s signify intensity, but also completion. Just as the rigors of winter give way to the light and warmth of spring, so the period you are going through will come to its natural completion, and you will enter a brighter phase of your life. Alternatively, the card may indicate the dangers of using your mental powers cruelly. A sharp mind can sometimes wound unintentionally. And there was more at the beginning as well, but that kind of gives you an idea of how this deck speaks about this card. What I missed? There's so many laughing emojis. What happened? Oh, I missed. What did Simon say? Oh, Elle, you got to tell me later. Emily said here, the blue of the duvet feels like a wave of emotions. A walk of shame, Alana agrees with. Simon says blue is a universal healing color, which is gradually washing over her and providing comfort. Yes, I love that. Stephen says Mars and Gemini, so much aggressive energy in an already active sign. It's named cruelty for a good reason. Oh my goodness. Speech to Texas pants. I wish. Did somebody screenshot that for me? No fair. Wendy says, I only have the small book, which came with the cards. Did not realize there was a large book that is now on my book wish list. Yeah, this one comes with the big kit. So there's a big kit version of it. And they re-released this last year, I want to say, with the big book. Of course, I screenshot it, said Elle. Oh, Elle, I knew I could count on you. All right. Sometimes some things are better read than said isn't applicable. I'm not quite sure I followed that. Alana feels like she is blaming her entire past on herself, forgetting that she can't control others' behaviors, right? All right. Shane, sending love and luck for better typing to Simon. The guidebook is wonderfully written. All right. We have one last question to answer before we get into our reversals. What's the next step? So this is our Jessie question. What's the next step as we move into this week? If we are experiencing whatever it is we're experiencing, how do we move on to the next step? For me, while you guys are thinking about your answers, I feel like so many of the ways that we've answered the previous questions still really apply, right? It's try not to be consumed by negative thoughts, worrying thoughts, anxieties, things that are out of our control, being willing to recognize whatever it is that we're facing, open our eyes, face it, deal with the realities, and be prepared to move forward so we can complete this current cycle and move on to the next one. But those are my thoughts. Now I want to hear yours. Science to Soul, Jen, remember the negative thoughts are not reality and begin to move away from them. I mean, I feel like I'm feeling you here with this one, Jen. Any other thoughts? Well, I had things to say until I said it all. So I didn't mean to take the fun away, but sometimes I feel like I should actually participate rather than just read the chat aloud. You know, it's fun to play. I don't know if you can buy the large tarot book separately. Has anybody seen that? Alana says, by letting go of control and just let things flow naturally. Have faith, right? A lot of times the swords can be about trying to control things, right? And control the thoughts I mean, I'm a big fan of trying to put organization around chaos, but sometimes you just can't. Emily recopied from above. Oh, thank you. It's done already. Let it go and lie down and rest. Oh, thanks for doing that, Emily. I'm sorry I missed it the first time. Essence says, buy a bigger bed or don't lay under it. Rise up to the challenge, right? Maybe get out of bed. Like if you can't sleep anyway, get out of bed, do something that makes you feel like you are accomplishing something. Or like I said earlier, you know, write it down, do something so that you feel like you've done something so that maybe some of the anxiety can fade. All right. Any other thoughts before we start talking about reversals? Jessie, I don't know if you're still in here, but if we answered your question, I hope we did. And if not, well then, oh, wow, that was awesome. That was epic right there, wasn't it? Okay. Let's talk about, Alana says, I am OCD, so this is lack of control is hard for me, right? For many it is, I think. Oh, Jessie, did we answer your question? You feel like you know what the next step is? Because we gave you lots of options, or at least a few. Mandy says, oh, you guys were talking about the meditation that Jilly likes to host. All right, let's bring, no, not our Six of Wands. We already turned him upside down. Let's turn our Nine of Swords upside down. And let's talk about, for those of you who read reversals or what we see what we think we see when this card is reversed, or perhaps this is in a blocked position, an obstacle position, a challenge position in a spread. What do we think? Jesse said, yes. I said, take a long nap. Oh, did I miss it, Jesse? Oh, it's right freaking there. I see it now. Yes, and when we're done, you even put it in all caps. I'm sorry. You think I wouldn't miss it. Let's see. Essence says, anxiety is a real and will consume you. Knowing is half the battle. Doing is the way to the finish line. Swords are more prominent when we turn this upside down, right? Has the anxiety now become worse, right? Do we feel less comforted by the blanket because now the swords really feature? Mendy says, this is not a reflection on tarot playdate. I have a nap addiction. Naps can be good. I miss the days of taking naps. Emily says the swords come crashing down off the wall. Wake up and notice how our beliefs are driving our situation, says Stephen. How we have framed a situation may not be accurate. Yes. Let's see. Thank you, Jesse. Appreciate your forgiveness. Maharet fell asleep. I'm really tired too. So I hope you got a little bit in a nap and I hope you didn't have any nightmares. The swords hold us, cradle us from falling, or so we think. Holding on to past trauma responses that once were vital for our survival can no longer serve you. They are hindering you, says Al. Yeah, so maybe, I feel like with this card, as with a lot of reversals, it almost makes just the natural upright meanings of this card, to me, it just exacerbates them. It makes them more prominent. It makes it seem just a little bit more, there's even more anxiety, right? It's that much harder sort of to overcome those thoughts, right? So this, to me, when this card is turned, and I don't know if this is how other people would read it, but to me, it just means that getting past those thoughts or those anxieties or those fears is going to be just a bit more challenging than it would if this card was not in that position. But I'm totally open to other thoughts on this. Essence says, reversed, everything is falling apart and you have a bump on your head to prove it. Battle scars, right? Let's see. I'm worried about him. Scared he's going to fall into the swords. Turn him back around, says Alana. I did for a second, but then I went and turned him on his head again. You will not be unscathed, says Essence, but you will survive it. Robin says, climbing the walls can be a painful experience, right? Of course, Al, for sure with this card, you are not waking from the nightmare. Emily says, for some reason, it does look like the swords behind the person go through their back more reversed than when upright, right? Lots of interesting takes on that. So keep your thoughts coming. In the meantime, do we want to, a preview of the 10? Yeah, good point. Maybe we're a lot closer to the 10 when this is upside down than when it's right side up, right? So let's talk about our activities for the week. Oh gosh, I buried the playbook. Well, I'm going to read the alternate activity that we created first for you. I found that these tend to be more popular. And these activities were designed before Playdate started to help you connect more with the particular card of the week. When we first started incorporating the Llewellyn, I think it's Llewellyn, Tarot Playbook into this, this is a book that's really meant more to help, I really buried it. It's to help you connect more with whatever tarot deck, and they associate an activity with each card, but I don't know that it always embraces exactly the theme of the card. But so first I'll read the activity. Don't feel like that you have to rush to write this down. I will post this in the description box of this video when it's uploaded. And then I will also put it in our Tarot Playdate Facebook group. And I really love all of you who participate, who comment, who show your different versions of the card every week, either in the Facebook group or on Instagram using the hashtag Tarot Playdate, or tag me, or both, is great. But what was I going to say? Put the activities in there. But yeah, if you want to share your results of your activities, that's really fun. And Elle and I have been talking about, because Elle is an admin in my group or moderator in my group, we've been talking about ways to maybe bring the activities more to the forefront in Tarot Playdate.
so that we can also remember that if we haven't done activities in the past, that we can go back and catch up on those. It's never too late to pick up at any point, connect with one of the cards that we've already done and do those activities. So we're going to be playing around with that to maybe get some more actual playing in the Playdate Facebook group. Okay, I feel like I have missed a whole lot of comments. I'm going to check in here. Alana was worried about him. Oh yeah, that was right. We forgot to mention that the swords were all facing forward. I think we did at one point talking about the action in that, Robin. Kiana's got some more notes on reversals here, so take a look at that. Thank you for the link, Elle. Okay, so our activity for this week is called Nowhere to Go But Up. So let me hold this up again. Something has knocked you down, but it's time to get back up. Ask the tarot to give you its best motivational speech so you can get back up. Pull 3 cards. What motivational words does each card have for you? No, that was the 10. Oh my gosh. All right, that was a preview when we get that card. Let's talk about the 9 of Swords. Oh, I'm so sorry, you guys. This has been a week. All right, no more nightmares. That makes way more sense. So this was an Elle activity. Thank you, Elle, for your contribution to Tarot Playdate. We all have nightmares from time to time. If you can remember one that you have had when you wake up, write it down immediately. Then at your next opportunity, do this spread. Draw 3 cards. In position 1, this card represents the thoughts that are likely causing you anxiety, leading to the nightmare. Position 2 asks you why you are having these thoughts. And position 3, what you can do to balance the energy so it ceases to cause further anxiety. Try to be mindful of your next night's sleep. Was it more restful after doing this spread? So we will put that again in the video and in the Tarot Playdate Facebook group. Thank you, Elle. And then if you like to use the Tarot Playbook, does anybody else? I ask this every week. I'm just going to read it anyway. I made a commitment, so we're going to stick with it. The activity for the 9 of Swords is called Everything Counts, and it's on page 128. And it asks, difficulty sleeping, ? Counting sheet just not working for you, ? You're not alone. So then it gets silly because they think they're funny in this book. It talks about turning off the lights and snuggling into bed with the major arcana cards, a torch, and a mug of warm milk. And then it goes on from there. So maybe embracing a little bit of this week's card after all in the Tarot Playbook. All right. That's it, folks. Thank you for another fabulous Tarot Playdate. It was really wonderful to see you all here. Thank you for helping everyone face this card together. I really look forward to seeing you guys next week for who knows what card. Once again, happy Mother's Day to all who are celebrating. And even if you're not, and you're a mom or you want to celebrate a mom, you know, we'll spread the love all around. I hope you guys have an amazing week. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.